More problems with the gun laws.
The WA government couldn't organise a route in a brothel with this one at the moment, but that's okay. If we had no legislative freak-offs, we'd have nothing to talk about on our plate.
That came out wrong.
Yeah, way wrong, right?
Roger Cook probably thought that the Aboriginal Cultural Heritage Act would be the most dysfunctional product of Parliament he would ever have to deal with as Premier. Not so. Something's happening now that cements the 2024 Firearms Act as the public policy turd that just won't flush.
Oh my God!
Latest critics aren't gun owners.
They're doctors. Easy for the government to brush aside crazy gun nuts complaining about the laws, bit harder with an apolitical, board-certified medical practitioner.
Hi, Dr. Nick.
Section 148 of the Firearms Act requires a gun owner or prospective owner to undergo a physical and mental assessment by a doctor before applying for a new or renewing an existing firearms licence. The cops have provided doctors with this not at all easy to read guide on how to assess the people in front of them. Medicos are expected to recognise whether you are a potential menace by virtue of being thick as pig shit.
Flash my guns around a little bit. I'll go, ooh, dude, my mom's gonna kill me.
Or a psycho.
You talking to me?
And there's also a physical test.
This is designed to assess your neuromusculoskeletal and movement-related functions. Are you physically fit enough to handle a weapon as determined by such things as your mobility and stability, muscle power and endurance, and also your control of voluntary movement functions, involuntary movement functions, and spontaneous movements.
What does that even mean?
I think it's to work out whether you're going to shit yourself when you pull the trigger.
It's coming out of me like lava!
The problem isn't that doctors can't do the work required. It takes a bit of time, but it's not that complicated. A lot of them are refusing to do the health assessments at all because they don't want blood on their hands if there's a shooting in the future. They're worried they'll be held culpable if they say someone's good to have a gun today, and years from now, that someone turns out to be Mark Bombara.
Yeah, and some of their fears have foundation.
We're seeing proof of that in real time right now. One of the witnesses called at the inquest into the Bondi Junction stabbings was a psychologist who treated killer Joel Cauchi. The psych was grilled about why she made the call to cease his psychotropic medication in 2019. That's a full 5 years before he stabbed 6 people in Sydney. The WA chapter of the Royal Australian College of GPs has warned the government that GPs watching the inquest in the context of firearms risk assessments find it hard not to dread being placed in a similar position.
So doctors are boycotting the test.
Not all of them, but a lot. And not just because they're worried about a diagnosis coming back to haunt them, as is the case with Cauchi's shrink. If you're a gun owner going to your GP, are you going to be completely upfront about your depression or other health concerns if you think that'll affect their decision when you come to renew your licence?
Yeah, so what's the fix?
There isn't one. The cops are at pains to assure the medicos that it's not the doctor that has the final say over whether someone is allowed to have a gun, it's the police. But that's really bullshit because the GPs don't have the option to say yes, but, or no, but, and then submit reasoning for review by the 5-0. It's either yes or no, and if it's a no, you aren't getting a gun, so the doctors really are judge and jury on this one.
Yeah, so some people will be searching for a new GP that doesn't know them.
And waiting a long time to get an assessment at the very least, which is no problem if you're someone that just likes to go to the local gun range for fun. But what if you're a farmer or a professional pest controller? You're going to use a slingshot to bring down a feral pig? I'm Ben Harvey.